Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here Monday morning, and Monday means what a weekend of sports. This weekend focused on the PGA and the Fedex Cup and $15 million. We're going to go into that first here, but we want to mention one of our sponsors, CoolEyeCover.com. We've got them to offer a 35% discount to our listeners. So if you're interested in getting sunglasses, we've talked about a lot about the quality they have there. You're going to get a 35% discount now. And the way you do that is just email us at ultimatesportschannel31@gmail.com. We will send you the code that you can use to go in and buy it 35% off. So cool offer for you. Great time of year to be picking up sunglasses. We're going into the fall here. It's hard to believe, into September. But there's lots of sun, lots of sports still going on. MLB, football starting up, lots of sitting outside. So you want to make sure you're properly covered there, Joey. So a great deal there. But what we're talking about is golf, PGA, and FedEx Cup, and who won the $15 million?
Well, Rory McIlroy, he got it done. $15 million, wins both tournaments. We finally got to see what the new format was going to play out like. He made it kind of exciting, but another event similar to this year, which is they got a big lead, fell back a little bit, then got the big lead again by then. So another finish that wasn't that exciting. A couple guys looked really tired. They had to play about 31 holes on this Sunday. Rory just looked, fit, ready to go. He hit every fairway. It was insane how well he hit the ball and even putted. So great win for him. The new format worked out great. You had top guys there. Unfortunately, it wasn't as close as we would like, but top guys were all there. Rory coming on top, which couldn't ask for anything better. And, he got to win both, which was cool too, which allowed the celebration to happen.
Yeah.
And, actually what's interesting is he talked about winning the tournament within the tournament. He was the lowest player for all 4 rounds, as well as the one with strokes, obviously, because he won the tournament. So I think it was a total win by the PGA Tour, honestly, with the way it worked out and the way the scores went. And they had as best the final groups as you could ask for.
Well, you couldn't have asked. Certainly, you couldn't have asked for a better field. There's no doubt about that. They got exactly what they wanted. And unfortunately, the golf course won, I think, yesterday. Really, when you're looking at what occurred, none of the top guys could make runs. Rory got to the top and held on there. Disappointing. I'm going to give you congratulations first, because you picked Rory to win the tournament.
And Schauffele
for second, which we both had. And then I had Brooks. I thought he was going to win the tournament. He was in total control. I don't know what happened to him. It was a little bit of what the end of the year looked like for him. He really played some rusty looking, not rusty because he's been playing, but just some golf that wasn't sharp down the stretch. Not in his nature.
He really struggled kind of, all over, and never really had a strong part of his game. Really, his putter probably saved him in the first 3 rounds, truthfully. It's only a matter of time when that putter starts to cool down. He wasn't hitting it well enough to contend. Really, for him, I think it was more, he kind of looked out of it. He kind of, tried, I think, his best, and he had some comeback blows after making bad scores, but at the end of the day, ran out of fuel, ran out of steam. Couldn't make it happen. Couldn't hit the fairways, which at East League you have to do.
Yeah.
And I just think, for him, he's going to be happy this season because I know he's chasing majors. He wants to be the guy going for that 18 major title of Jack Nicklaus. So I know for him, mentally, it's probably if I win a major every year, that's his goal. So I don't think he's going to be dejected by this. But it was shocking for me, for someone who claims he can turn it on at any point. He gave himself the lead going in the final round. You can't tell me you weren't giving 110%
oh, yeah, for sure
to win this event, and ultimately just didn't have it. His swing had looked bad for a couple weeks now, and really his putter didn't look great for a couple weeks now. It hung in for 3 rounds as long as it could, and even for the first 9 holes of the final round.
I was already cashing my bet. I mean, I had Brooks. I thought he was going to run away with it. He got in the position to do that. And suffered a double bogey, which just
that didn't even do it.
He had a killer.
Had a double bogey on the front 9, came back with a birdie.
Yeah.
It all unraveled for him on this back 9. He just
it was kind of messy. It wasn't even that bad.
He just couldn't get it going. He just couldn't find fairways. He stayed aggressive, which that'd be my only question mark is why didn't you throttle back with some 3-woods, and then had some 3-putts, had 2 3-putts.
And speaking of 3-woods, Schauffele unfortunately was kind of. You can't call him a meltdown because he ended up staying there for a second because that scrambling was unbelievable. But his driver was a mess.
He was bad.
And he had one 3-wood that he hit it perfectly. You and I were questioning why is he not backing off to the 3-wood? Because his short game was so good. Why not try and win with the short game? He stayed with the driver, hit it all over the place all day long. really did not threaten Rory at all, which we thought he might. Kind of the look of a young player. Kind of a look that he didn't make any adjustments to try and, it just wasn't, the driver just wasn't working. You got to make some adjustments. Seems like a young guy just says, I'm going to keep plowing ahead with my main club, and I'm not going to change, and it looked like that.
Well, I think but first of all, it's a hard, long golf course. That's why I love Eastlake. And even with Rory at 18 under, looks like he went low, but he really went 12 under, which is what we expect out of that golf course. It normally swings 12 under for 4 days. So really, you got to remember he started with strokes. Schauffele not switching, I think has a couple things. One is Rory started going. I mean, he started going on that back nine. I think, at the end of the day, I think he felt like he couldn't maybe throttle back. It was hard to hold these greens. I think it's just someone who was reluctant. He's normally a good driver of the golf ball, so I think he just felt like he had to stick with it. But at the end of the day, he didn't putt well either. He didn't make some chances he had. Really
in that 10 to 15 foot range.
Yeah, I mean, not gimmies, but he really had 4 or 5 from 10 to 15 feet. He could have made to put pressure on Rory that Rory made, and he just didn't make them. And even for par on 14, he didn't make that one from about 12 feet. So, as much as you can blame the driver, I think he was trying to stay as aggressive as much as he can, but he really still gave himself opportunities and couldn't make a thing. And at the end of the day, held on to second, though, which I know is a good deal for him. It's a good finish. He's very consistent there. And
the $5 million made a lot more relevance to him than 15 to Rory. So I'm sure he's thrilled with. But
he's
finish.
Someone who's got to. I think if he can win one, he'll take off. I mean, he has so many top fives in majors and in big events. If he can just get a win, I mean, who knows? But Rory pulled through in the clutch when none of us thought he really would. I bet, and started one behind. I said that'd be the key for him, not having the lead. He started one behind. Got to play aggressive, but ultimately just outdrove everybody, and it was so impressive. And it's even though his putting was great too, it kind of took a backseat in my mind to how well he drove the ball because the other guys drove it so poorly.
But you mentioned it, and they talked about it on the thing. His putting has changed dramatically. He looked very confident. I mean, early in the year, we watched a couple of tournaments where he was virtually choking off putts. I mean, he couldn't make a 4-footer. And now he's, I think he's like #1 strokes gained in putting in the last few tournaments. So, he has really changed his game. If he putts like this, nobody can beat him. He is the best player in golf.
So he's been this good at putting, and that's why I said he could have won 3-4 other times. He's really putted this well all year long, except for final rounds usually. And that's why he hasn't won 3 more times. But the 3 times he's won, he putted well in the final round. Now, he's got to start taking that to majors. I mean, as much as we've talked about where will the FedEx Cup rank amongst majors, I think even for him, you'd trade his year for Brooks' year. I guarantee it for a major right now. And, it'll be interesting who wins Player of the Year. But, these majors still matter, these guys. I think what Rory's season was way more impressive. He finished in the top 10 so many times. I think only 3 events not in the top 10.
Right.
Had a Players, Canadian Open, which is a country open, and the FedEx Cup. Who knows? But he's got to start doing this in majors, get it going, make a run at the record. We all know what he can do when he putts well. He's a guy that won 2, 3 majors in the same year. So hopefully that comes.
Well, he's clearly the best player in golf. There's no doubt about it. If he can, when he putts, no one can beat him. I think he proved it this week with the tournament and won the tournament in the tournament, which you mentioned quickly there, but we were surprised how important that was to him. It was really because he didn't want to back in. It was funny how he talked about that after 18, that birdie putt, made sure that he won the tournament, and he didn't want to be known as a guy who didn't win the tournament but won the FedEx Cup.
Well,
good for him. I mean, to even think about that.
In their first year in this format, it's probably good that a guy decided to do that.
Yeah.
And avoid all controversy of, media analyzing it, obviously, because they would do that to try to get under his skin.
Someone else would have won the tournament of the week,
and such
he
like
won
that.
the FedEx Cup. Yeah.
I still think, I think the format won with the players at the top, although I was talking to Dad here, and, I did say winning the tournament would have been much harder in the older format. There would have been way more guys closer to him than what there was.
Right.
But you might have got 2 different winners, which is what they want to avoid. So I think FedEx Cup has to say they won, and I'm sure they're going to continue to make tweaks going forward. I think they're going to probably tweak how many points you get for majors, probably make that 1,000 points now for winning a major, because the playoffs are 2,000, and right now majors are only 650. So I think they want to put some emphasis on that. You had Tiger and Shane Lowry both miss the top 30. I know that's disappointing to have 2 major champions not make the final 30. Right. Seems hard to believe, truthfully.
However, I got to give it to Brooks, too, because they interviewed him before the tournament. He says, or it was Rory. No, it was Rory. Sorry. When they were talking about that, he said, you cannot go into a playoff, and because the guy had a good week, he gets in just because that week happened to be a major. He said this is about playing well all season long, including the playoffs. And this goes for every sport. They don't get to say, oh, because you were first place in the season, you get a double knockout in the playoffs. I mean, you just have to win. You have to get the points. Both of those guys had the opportunity to get points in the playoffs here, didn't do it. So I agree with Rory. This is a season-long championship, not a one-week championship. But a lot of guys can put a week together. And I know you're desperate. You want a Tiger. It's almost like you want to give him a gift to get there. You have to play your way in. It's the way playoffs are. In every sport, the guy who was great doesn't automatically get in, or the team that's great doesn't automatically get in. You have to earn your way there. They didn't earn their way there. That's the way playoffs are.
But it's not a season long. It's really just a 3-week race. If you make the FedEx Cup playoffs at all, with the points and the way they're adjusted, I think that's what
but you're trying to get Tiger in there when he didn't deserve it.
No, Patrick Reed going from 50th to second bugs me.
That's fine on those points, but the guys who missed didn't play well this year. Tiger played well at the Masters. It was the only tournament he played well in all season long, and he deserved to miss. And unfortunately, it's injury and lots of excuses. And I know he's the greatest player, all this kind of stuff. But when New England Patriots start to lose, people are not going to let them in. They're not going to create a system that keeps them in the playoffs. You have to just do it. The rules are there. They might tweak them a little bit, but those guys didn't deserve to be there. Lowry doesn't deserve to be there because he had one great week in Ireland.
I mean,
that just doesn't get you there. There's rules to get you there. You got to make it. As far as I'm concerned,
this is the guy who always says the tourist thing about the fans. Well, if you're thinking about the fans, having major winners not in the final 30, when you don't have cities that these players don't represent cities like in football and all that stuff, you have to have your favorite players there. There's a fact that people were bugged by Patrick Reed going, because it's a 3-week race. Essentially what they've done is you get a season-long race, it ends at the regular season, and in 3 weeks, whoever plays the best 3 weeks will win the FedEx Cup because of how drastic the points are. So either throttle those back or throttle up some of the bigger events like WGCs and majors, because at the end of the day, you're always saying, it's about the fans. While major winners are typically big names, WGC guys are typically big names because only 64 in the top world play in the WGC events, and they may not be getting there. That's my only thing. It's about the fans. That's what it is. And at the end of the day, Patrick going from 50th to second and then having 2 more bad weeks after that is a bit of a joke. He did not belong there. He played worse than everybody who won majors this year, and yet he got in because of 1 good week. So really, it's a 3-week race based on how extreme the points are. So either throttle those back, make the majors or WC more, one or the other. But Patrick Reed, you want to talk about season-long race, he was 70th. And then moved up.
Well, I don't disagree with the potential around the points. Everybody talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, all I'm saying is you can't create systems that get in guys that don't deserve to be there.
No, but Tiger was 25th entering the FedEx playoffs.
The playoffs are about the guys who played best. I don't disagree with the points. You're going to look at that for sure. Here's the one thing they need to do, though. A lot of people are talking about, does the FedEx Cup weigh in as much as majors do when it comes to player of the year and other categories like that? It will never do that until they stop tweaking it. You've got to get a number of years. It's a real gimmick for the money. They're trying to figure out ways to make it work the best for TV and all that, which I'm okay with. But when you're trying to say now, does this equate to the majors? It does not. The majors have been the majors for, 70 years. And so you can't be saying that this one is even ranking close to that until they get it solid and they play for a number of years under the same format that makes sure that the guy who's winning there can be a legacy about that. And there is not that about the FedEx Cup right now. So they've got to figure it out one time. They got to get the right system and then keep going. Otherwise, it'll never rank big enough.
Totally agree, but I don't think, I think it's still fair that it's ranked around, 6th of the biggest tournaments of the year, ultimately. I mean, you got the 4 majors.
Purse by a month.
Yeah, you got the Players' Championship. I think people would still rank that as their top 5. It's what they're used to. The Players is at TPC Sawgrass, which will always be famous for that 17th hole and the iconic memories. So I'd say even though it's young and it's still working out the kinks, it's still probably the 6th most important event for most of these guys. Now, obviously, to the lesser guys, it's even their most important event because they have no chance to win majors typically. So I think they'll always provide its value, but I do agree. If you want a legacy, you want a history, let's make a decision here, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's create some, memories. And really, 50 years from now, I'll be interested to see what it might be like. But even so, it's created Tiger Mania from last year. It created virtually a Rory comeback, essentially.
Yeah.
It's still created some moments, but there's definitely some tweaks here. The good thing is, it's so different. I don't think people even care about comparing it to majors. And except for true golf fans, but I think as fans go, they're just happy to have it. Players used to never play this late in the season. Players used to not care. There used to not be this big moment for $15 million. And even though we know it won't matter Rory's betting count, to most fans at home that don't watch golf every weekend, tune in. It's the last thing before football gets started. They probably tune in to watch it. The fans at Atlanta, it was packed.
Yeah.
And you heard the chants. So I think in the PGA Tour's eyes, they're still winning. And really the only people who complain are probably history buffs, true golfers, people who analyze it over and over and over again and want to create controversy. But otherwise, I think it's safe to say, they're winning, they're getting fans, and they're getting people to watch to the very end, knowing that it's not taking them away from any other sports,
right,
like football. And now they got this massive, massive purse. And even though I was exhausted with how often I had to heard how much money they were making, because I'm like, Rory makes $80 million for hitting a tee shot from Nike. I bet there was a lot of people at home who thought it was the coolest thing ever, like the Tiger Phil match, even though they're both billionaires and they were playing for $10 million. So at the end of the day, we're on the same side here. They need to make some changes and then stick with something and get it going, have people just agree with it and move on. But congratulations, PGA Tour. I think overall they're winning. They're getting these guys to play a lot, play deeper into the year. And they're creating a lot of time.
They did it great this year because of shortening the schedule. Those guys playing deep, right?
Great.
Every tournament now. The big guys are there playing every single one. So anyway, a big win, I think, overall in the year with the PGA. Congratulations to the commissioner. He did a great job. By the way, a tweet out from Jack Nicklaus, man. This guy is the coolest person on earth.
Isn't he?
A lot of old timers complain about how much money these guys make now, and they wish they made it when they were there. And one of the things I must say, Jack came right out and said, the game of golf is great. It's bigger than it's ever been. The guys deserve the money. Blah, blah, blah. And there was a guy that if he played in today's times would have won millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. He didn't talk about that in the text at all. It was just congratulations to the whole thing. Congratulating Commissioner. You could not get a bigger backing to get Jack. Say what a great year the Commissioner had.
Jack sees it through everyone's eyes. He sees it through a guy who owns golf courses. He sees it through a guy who played. He probably sees it through the eyes of fans and realizes
wants
that
golf to grow.
He wants golf to grow. Stop complaining about these guys making money. It started with you, and maybe you had to sacrifice more than these guys, but they've continued it. They've elevated it thanks to Jack, and it continued throughout the years. And that's the point of sport, and that's the growth of everything. Business, housing markets, it just grows, grows, grows. But Jack sees it through so many different eyes. He's truly a class act. Even Asinger said he was jealous and upset. It would look bad, truthfully, for commentary to hear him talk about it all the time.
Well, Asinger drove me crazy.
Yeah, but Jack, man,
he talked about winning $390,000 when he won whichever event it was. They had no FedEx Cup way back to the Tour Championship. Well, it didn't cost as much to do all this stuff. $390,000 back then was like winning $2 or $3 million at this time. They just forget all of that. The costs were not there as they are today. And yes, they're making money, but the whole world of sports is making money. The $15 million finally gets golfers into the realm of other sports athletes that are making this kind of money outside of sponsorship, obviously, but within the sport. This elevates golf into the world of hockey and basketball and football now.
Yeah.
And players are making that kind of money. So anyway, I think congratulations, the whole PGA. We've loved the year. It turns out it starts around. There's one thing different than every other sport. They don't take 6 months off. They got a tournament starting in September that gets everything going again. So we'll be looking forward to that. But we'll be into basketball, hockey, football. Yeah. By the time all that happens.
The early golf doesn't matter. There's sacrificial lamb tournaments.
Yeah.
That some guys,
some young guys
can go get some wins off the web.com. Some rookies go get those W's.
Yeah.
Maybe some Canadians will be in that mix. You get the odd star. Ricky will be 1 week. Spieth might be 1 week, but they're just that's not the point. The point is Commissioner won, wrapping our big season up before football gets going. We know as true golf fans, we're just so excited for football to get going too. So great end.
Yeah, there we are. Okay, that's it. We're not sure when we're going to start up in the PGA again. We'll see what the tournaments are looking like, how many of the big guys are playing. But that's the end of the season. It's been fantastic, exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back with the PGA when it starts to become relevant against other sports. So that's it for the season.